We're going to talk about this one way or another. We got to go over this. This is the Dallas Cowboys. You know, they done let stuff leak through the media. I done said, hey, I done said my piece on it. I know a lot of people had their thoughts on it. And there's some people that's agreeing with the players, and there's some people that is agreeing with the coaching staff. But I'm right in the middle. But I will say this, I don't like the players going out and speaking their minds to the media, not putting their name attached to it. It's a cat way to me. It's a coy way to me. I think that the coaching staff need to bring everybody in and go over this. But nevertheless, let's go over what Jane Slater had to say, the beautiful, the lovely Jane Slater, by the way. Let's listen in.
Story that took over the
Oh, and shout out to 105.3 The Fan. This is another review. So shout out to 105.3 The Fan. Let's go.
Metroplex yesterday broke from the Twitter account of Jane Slater, NFL Network. She hopped on the G-Bag Nation to go into it further. Cowboys players already questioning and calling out the coaching staff. He's initially bought into keeping things internal. Now as they sit 2-4, the discontent is leaking out. And by the way, Pat McAfee responded to this yesterday, and he goes, "Oh, thank you, players. Thank you for your 6-game agreement not to, voice your displeasure or go rant to the media. Thank you for that agreement while at 2-4. But now that you're, past 6 games, now we can go ahead and leak internal information." On the coaching staff, quote, "They're totally unprepared. They don't teach. They don't have any sense of adjusting on the fly." Another player, so it's not just one malcontent, another said they just aren't good at their jobs, close quote. Yesterday, G-Bag obviously opened with this, and Brian Broaddus said he's heard that 2 coaches in the secondary, one of the guys they got, I believe, from A&M, not doing a good enough job, maybe not qualified, just not getting it done. Kavanaugh took the opposite approach and blasted weak and bad players. That it's not the coaches, it's injuries and lack of talent that are causing this team to get whipped. So,
hey, before they go into more details, yes, for context, we do have, 12 starters that's out. And then, of course, one of the main key components, your quarterback is down, who I think is the end-all, be-all as it relates to leadership. He's mature. He's poised. He handles a whole lot of stuff that we don't see. And on top of that, we're seeing that without Dak Prescott, not to put him on a mantle, that this team is crumbling. There's no sense of guidance. Now, normally what we would like to see out of this situation, Cowboy Nation, is one of the star players to step up and say, hey, it's on me. It's on me. It's on me to learn this situation. It's on me for the players to feel comfortable enough to go to me first, not go to the media. That is what the star player should do. That's what the star player should step out and say. Now, if the star player have something to do with this particular coaching staff, I believe that they should be the ones to reach out and speak out to the media and put their name attached to it. I digress. Let's listen to more what they have to say.
He didn't blame it on the coaching. He blamed it on the players, and he blamed it on the injuries for the Cowboys' struggle. Here's Jane Slater hopping on with G-Bag explaining the timeline of events.
It started with Jalen Smith's very honest admission when asked about this defense and him saying they needed to simplify the playbook. And while I completely appreciate the transparency, it sort of raised a bit of a red flag to me that a player felt this early into a new coaching regime that you could speak so freely about it. It felt a little disrespectful. And I thought to myself, I can't imagine too many coaching staffs would appreciate that. And then you have a guy like Everson Griffin talking about abandoning the 3-point stance. And, guys like at my network, Daniel Jeremiah, even looking at the tape and looking like these guys weren't playing with effort and there was confusion and miscommunication. And then you've got Mike McCarthy recently talking about it felt like there was some improvising going on and these guys just need to buy in. So I've been pressing in recent weeks about those things. And I wouldn't say I was altogether shocked that following that performance last night in the 2-4 record that I would hear something on this. But I thought what was worth putting out there was the fact that injuries are one thing, What I think is harder to get over is a lack of buy-in and what seems like a lack of respect for this coaching staff. I don't know how you move past that.
Wow.
That is deep. That is flat out deep. Look, when the chef is cooking, when he's preparing the meal, the persons that's under them, they can't be in mid-form saying, hey, you added too much. Or hey, what about this? You didn't add the mustard. You left out the ketchup. Whatever it may be, you got to trust what the chef is cooking. Now, I will say this, Cowboy Nation. When we look at everything, look at it from this perspective. These players have no room, no longitude and latitude to open their mouth. Especially when you turn on a tape, regardless of whether or not it's a 3-4 or 4-3, or if it's a new defense or a bad defense or an old defense or something just not even seen before with your natural eyes. You can see effort. That's one thing that you can always say to yourself, I can see effort. And playing through the echoes of the whistle have nothing to do with alignment and assignment, especially when it's me running on the field trying to chase you to knock you down. So these players are looking for a scapegoat. Got to show some respect.
And a lack of buy-in for the new group. And she said this carries over to the offensive side of the ball as well. And Jane said she could not remember similar complaints when Jason Garrett was here, Rod Marinelli, or Kellen Moore were all together last year and the years before.
Look, the coaching, the attention to detail, the preparedness is all things that are questionable right now with this coaching staff, and the ability for not the ability, but the freedom these players feel to be able to talk 6 games in. One thing we know, tale as old as time. When the ship starts taking on water, everyone looks for their own life jacket.
Yeah,
and that's how you get scapegoats, coaches fired. Everyone looks for their own scapegoat. Last year, the scapegoat was easy. It was Jason Garrett. The year before that, it was Jason Garrett. The year before that, it was Jason Garrett. You had Scott Linehan thrown in there for a little bit. You had Dak thrown in there. You had Dez was a scapegoat. And those guys all got run out of town. Well, now, is it Mike McCarthy that's going to get – He's not going to get scapegoated. The head coach ain't getting scapegoated 6 weeks into it. Right. It's going to be the defensive coaches. Okay? It's going to be someone there. It's probably not going to be Kellen Moore, but it wouldn't stun me if it is at some point. Probably not now, but at some point this year, next year, whatever.
Hey, before they go into more details, this particular staff did listen to what the players had to say, didn't they? You guys remember Jalen Smith said, hey, this defense is too complicated. Can we dumb it down a little bit? And I think it was like going into week 3, they did just that. They dumbed it down a little bit. They made some arrangements for that. Do you guys remember that? Let me see if I can play this audio clip right quick, because I know you guys do remember that, right?
Referenced to us this morning that the coaching staff has taken a hard look at maybe we should simplify things a little bit as a defense. Maybe we're asking our guys to do a little too much out there. Do you think simplifying things as a defense could benefit the group?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You got it.
In what ways?
I believe just allowing us more opportunities to hound in on what we're actually going to run in our game plan. I believe it's important that each and every player knows in and out what they have to do. And with a smaller playbook, it gives us a better opportunity to do that. And like I said, it's about us growing each and every week. The coaches are on the same page. The players are on the same page. And we're just trying to do whatever it takes to get that much better each and every week.
Do you feel like the first 2 weeks of the season kind of helped the coaches realize that a little bit after talking to you guys and watching the tape?
Absolutely. It's all about what you do next. And having 2 games up under our belt to really evaluate, what were those mistakes? What were those mental errors and missed assignments that took place within each play? And then figuring out ways on how we can help eradicate that. And I think that's exactly what we're doing.
Jalen, how important is it to understand if something goes wrong in a play, whether your teammates didn't understand their assignment or just weren't able to complete it?
9 times out of 10, if a player messes up, they know that they messed up, and it's literally just a matter of locking in on that play and alignment, assignment, key, technique in that order. That's what.
So we got them on record saying that yes, coaching staff done already reached out and said, okay, we will dumb it down a little bit. We will tilt it back just a little bit so that you guys can get comfortable, so that you guys can know what we talking about, so that everything can work in this right flavor, in this right order. So they did just that. It's just that now this team is losing and they want to bring it up again, saying, hey, this is that. We're not learning. We're not getting this and we're not getting that. I digress.
But you are scapegoat Kellen Moore for having the number 1 offense in the league and a quarterback with historic numbers.
You're not. That's the point. You're not. But if the heat starts getting on McCarthy to the point where it's going to start pinpointing on him, he'll do what all other coaches do, and he'll scapegoat someone and say, well, look, guys, I'm just going to take over the offense.
The Jones boys have made all of us question their sanity because of the bullets that they're willing to take for this season so far. They can't believe the entire vote of confidence that they've been giving. They're trying to play nice and not have this team turn on each other. Maybe the players should be a little more grateful over that.
No, well, let me speak on that. And everybody can semi-agree. The Joneses came out and said, we like our guys. Let me know if I'm lying. Oh, I'm sorry. They probably said we love our guys. Let me know which one did they say, regardless of the situation. The strangest part of this all, Jerry Wayne Jones and company, or and Sons, they came out and they put their word on the line with the players. They said, hey, we trust our guys. We love our guys. We like our guys. We don't need nobody else. We can win with what we got. We can do with what we got. We got a long season ahead of us. And the craziest thing of it all, the same people that they saying that they trust are backstabbing them, saying that, hey, it's the coaching. Hey, it's the philosophy. Hey, it's too much for us to actually eat. And we as fans, we see it and we sitting there saying, hey, go get this guy. Go get that guy. Go call this guy. Just bring him in for a cup of coffee. Even if you have to lie to kick it, bring somebody in so that we can at least know that these guys that's out there that you saying that you trust can at least feel the pressure. But they mess up in the staffing organization from the Joneses, as the Jones boys, as the guy from 105.3 The Fan said, the Jones boys is saying, hey, we trust our guys. We see Darian Thompson get blown out on the field, letting somebody live behind him, basically, build a whole house behind him. And Jerry Wayne and Son says, hey, we trust our guys. And just with the same breath, not saying it is Darian Thompson, not saying it is Jalen Smith, not saying that it's one of those guys like Xavier Woods who came out and said, hey, we can't give 100% of the time, 100% of the time, which I understand. But, hey, I understand what he's saying. But just with that same breath, those guys are throwing the coaching staff under the bus. That's crazy, huh? And I'm not saying the coaching staff is 1,000,000% right. That's the craziest thing, too.
But Jerry and Steven are at fault for roster issues.
True.
They, to me, ended the season when they chose the secondary. Okay? They ended the season when they decided to pay Amari over Byron and Jalen and Zeke over Byron. They chose wrong with D tackles over cornerbacks. That's their fault. These coaches, I know Kavanaugh is saying it's not the coach's fault, or he's taking up for them, or he's more blaming the players. I'm not going to get into an X's and X's battle with Jeff or Broadus. I'd lose that big time. We can all see other coaching decisions made within these first 6 games to make you legitimately question Mike McCarthy and whether he's even as good as Jason Garrett. Special teams decisions, stupid penalties, 12 men on the field, fake punt, field goal choices, 4th down decisions. If you're messing up those things, then what are you doing with game plans and adjustments, things that I can't really speak to within the game? Mike Nolan, on paper, has no business being the defensive coordinator of this football team. And if Mike McCarthy hired him because of the good old boy buddy-buddy system, then that's Mike McCarthy's fault. And he's a sucker for trying to repay some type of loyalty when the new guy wasn't qualified. And then obviously it's the players' fault as well because they're not good enough. And they all blame Jason when it was time for Jason to roll out last year. Now they all want to turn on this coaching staff early. Now,
Hey. I got to stop him right quick. He's spitting some good stuff, man. Spitting so much stuff you might want to pull out an umbrella because it's raining over here. Nothing but facts. But here's the situation. There's a saying, not everybody's lying on you, right? And when you start removing things around and there's one constant denominator, let me know who that person is. It's regardless of the situation. We know for sure. Let's not lie to kick it, Cowboy Nation. Mike McCarthy is not calling no plays. He's playing the role just like Jason Garrett. You might as well call him a Manchurian candidate. Matter of fact, you might as well say that he's Jason Garrett 2.0 because he got no power. He ain't really doing anything. He's not empowered by nobody on this team. Kellen Moore is running the offense, basically. And on top of that, when you look at the defensive side of the ball, yes, the Mike Nolan situation, scratches my head. Eyes are scratching my head really hard now. Because really, when you look at it, were there other options out there that's better? Yeah. When you look at Mike Nolan's resume, yeah. And my only battle cry for Mike Nolan was, hey, maybe, just maybe, he can go all the way back when he was operating within the confines of the Ravens. Remember that time frame? Remember that video that I did when I said he was operating within the confines of the Ravens? But dog it, we don't have nobody close to the Ravens defense on this side of the ball, right? Nobody close from their personnel. There's no Ray Lewis. As much as we can say about Jalen Smith, he's no Ray Lewis, not even in the same sentence, not even in the same conversation, especially mentally, not even in the same room, right? And when we start talking about the front four, big with Saragusa, Sam Madison's and those boys, Sam Adams, I meant to say, and those boys, hey, and Ed Reed down the line, we don't have the personnel. We don't, regardless of how we look at it. Now, that's the flavor. That's the real truth.
As for being a rat and a snitch, if these players, as Mike Fisher said, if these players did go to these coaches already and ask for changes or express these concerns, and they got the feeling that these coaches basically said, get out of here. Thanks, but no thanks. Roll out. We're the coaches. We know what we're doing. If that happened, then I don't blame them for leaking this to Jane. If it didn't happen, and Mike McCarthy is saying, let's be men here, I have an open-door policy, then I would blame them more and attack them like Kavanaugh did yesterday. This is Mike McCarthy's response yesterday when the media asked him about the report.
The key word there is anonymous, and I think I've already stated, I think it's important for our operation, the system that we're putting in place here. All systems are different. We've looked at how things were done here in the past, and there's a clear vision and understanding things need to be moving forward. But it's important for us to have those conversations as men one-on-one. So or as a group, and I'm fortunate enough where I get to talk to the team every day.
This is really bad.
Yes.
It is.
Really, really bad. And Jerry and Steven can do one of two things. They can sit there, and again, I'll bring up the Cowboys mirror again that they don't have in their homes. The Cowboys front office can sit down today and say, yo, did we overrate this guy because of Aaron Rodgers and Jay Glazer told us to hire him? And do we need to cut bait? Do we need to rip off a Band-Aid sooner rather than later? Or are we going to give him 3 years no matter what?
Too much pride.
Are these Garrett's guys still here? Do we need to give them a year in offseason to clean house? You have to realize if you have a major issue to admit the mistake earlier rather than later. You just have to do it. And I'm not saying it's time to do that right now. I don't know. I don't know enough behind the scenes, but I hope that the Joneses are open to that conversation versus just being stubborn and trying to make their hire, their post-Jason Garrett hire, work no matter what. And you burn 2 or 3 years of another quarterback's prime in doing it.
There's a lot of issues within this football team, in the organization, from the personnel to the coaches to the front office to the structure of the organization. Now maybe these go on everywhere. Maybe these issues go on everywhere and we just don't pay attention enough to it. And I'm sure every organization has their organizational structure issues, their procedural issues. But, man, it just seems like everything is magnified here.
So here's Aaron Rodgers' reaction.
Before we get into Aaron Rodgers' reaction, how in the hell, Cowboy Nation? How do you let somebody else from the outside of the organization speak volumes that can resonate for this organization? How?
To the Mike McCarthy report yesterday.
You never want to hear the inside sources, or if somebody from the inside, or somebody going on not going on the record, these anonymous quotes or whatever. You don't ever want any of those things. As far as I know, what the facts are today, they're in first place in a division. First place in any division, regardless of your record, assures you a home playoff game.
Yeah.
We won the division in 2013 at 8-7-1. Had to win our last one to get a home playoff game. So, that division obviously has been a little down this year. With I think Philly's 1-4-1, and the other two teams are 1-5. But they still have a lot of games against each other. The long season, obviously, losing Dak doesn't help because
Now, that was the end of that interview there. How in the world do you allow Aaron Rodgers from the opposite team, way up north somewhere, in Green Bay land, be the voice of reasoning for the Dallas Cowboys leadership here? That should be D-Law speaking right now. That should be Jalen Smith out there speaking right now. That should be whoever's the leader of this particular team. That should be Ezekiel Elliott speaking. That should be Ezekiel Elliott crafting his words together saying, hey, we don't buy into the players that's going out there spitting whatever they spitting without their name attached to it. No, that's not us. We're learning right now. We're picking things up right now. Yes, it's bad that we're 2-4, but we're still leading in our division. We just have to figure out how we can get our groove back, get on the same page so that we can win. Yes, there's warts right now, but I believe that we can turn this thing around. That should be the voice of reasoning, not somebody sitting there saying, okay, let me go run to Jane Slater. Let me go run to Tupac. Let me go run to Biggie. Well, let me go run to whoever that's out there, And shout out to Jane Slater. Please, 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 Jane. This is not me, hating on you. I love your content. I love what you're doing out there. And I feel that these players, they had to take an extra route to go talk to you about this, which is true, right? Because the media is not allowed in the locker rooms or what have you. So what I'm trying to say is, and it's one of those things, and I know we can't name drop a player, but here's the situation. We can't be having this, Dallas Cowboys. We can't be having this as it relates to a mental capacity. The leader needs to step up, not somebody way in Green Bay land. They got more optimisms about this. And he even said, hey, we won our division or their division 8-7-1 or something like that. So there could be a situation where yes, injuries are plagued throughout this team. Yes, we're missing 12 starters and beyond. Even our left tackle is out, Brandon Knight. So we're working on our third left tackle now. We're gonna have to bring people on out the streets and off the streets and stuff like that. We gotta horn in. Remember, Cowboy Nation, we're supposed to be like a knot on a rope. When the opposing forces pulls on us, we get tighter and stronger, not weaker, and not pointing the finger. It's about how you can benefit by showcasing your talent out there, showing the coach that, hey, I don't agree with what you're saying, but dog it, I'm going to figure out a way to conquer it, right? There's people that's right now that's probably in high school saying, why do I got to take trigonometry, right? I'm not going to apply this to my life. Oh, why do I got to do music art appreciation? I don't need this in my life. Why I'm doing pre-algebra, whatever it may be. I've seen and heard the stories before. I'm not going to apply this to my life. Why should I take these classes? No, you got to dominate those classes, trusting yourself and your knowledge, even though you would never apply it to whatever you do in life. But it shows that, hey, I can sit down and I can learn something. I can challenge my mind. I can stretch it. We probably never use trigs in life. We probably never, if you're taking botany, what have you. Human anatomy, it probably benefit you, but it probably, you would never use this in your day-to-day course. The rainbow method, the Kramer's law theory, right? You will probably never use it in your day-to-day operations. But in order for you to graduate, you got to learn it. You got to know it. You got to figure out a way to pass it. So Cowboy Nation, stop being whiny little babies, whoever it is. Learn up, man up, and chest it up. Greet everybody in the face and say, okay, I made the mistake. The coaching staff made a mistake as well. But talk to it like man, right? Don't go over there to the media and be like, hey, I don't like the way this coach is coaching. I don't think that they're training, and we are complaining right now about it. But don't put my name out there on it. Put your name on it. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. I try to keep it under 30 minutes, baby. And I think I got it, right? It's a long form, and I'll do some shorter videos explaining this later for those who prefer the shorter videos. But I really appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit that like button and share this content. We out. Peace. Let's go.
Impressive.